What's up, everybody? How we doing here? Welcome to today's YouTube Live. Smoking a little cigar. This cigar right here, I think this is like a Colt 45. I might have the name incorrect, but it reminds me of when I was like 16, and I'd go out to like a party, and we would just have these little cigars that we'd like smoke in like an alleyway. And so like this is very nostalgic for me, smoking this. Like it reminds me of when I would have like a backpack full of like warm kokanee beer that like I stole from my dad's sort of beer fridge. Like the beer was warm. It was in a backpack, and just we were drinking like this piss in a lane, and we would smoke these cigars. I just got this from the convenience store near here. They're not very good, but I'm going to indulge myself anyway. How's everyone doing? Welcome to today's live. Thank you, everyone, for being patient. I'm here an hour later. Had some stuff going on. I was so unhinged. That I couldn't get the train on the tracks in order to be here at the time that I said. So thank you, everyone, for your patience with me coming here. Basically, it probably means that no one's actually going to be here because you guys would have come on at like 12 o'clock. Look at me, I'm a fucking idiot. I would have come on at like 12 o'clock or you guys would have come on at like 12 o'clock or 12:15 and been like, where is this guy? Where is he? And I wasn't here. And so you went and did something else. So basically, I'm going to be speaking into the great wide open abyss, but what else is new? So welcome to today's sermon, today's live, you guys. We are going to be talking about becoming unhinged. And so if you guys are watching this live, if you guys are taking this in live, I would love to hear from you guys in the chat section. You can address yourself with your name. Where in the world are you tuning in from, if you so care to? And if you're watching the replay, then don't fucking worry about any of that because you won't be able to do anything because the chat will be closed. So, but if you are watching this live, if there is another human being on the other side of this transmission, please let me know that you're there. If there is another human being here, please let me know that you're there. You could do the Morse code. You could do sign language. You can do anything. Just let me know that you exist. Okay. Look at that. Okay, so becoming unhinged, you guys. You know where we're going to start this is becoming unhinged. I was on my way to Toronto. So I was flying from Toronto. We're flying from Vancouver to Toronto. And I was going with my mom. And I hadn't been to Toronto in like 6 years. I lived there for 6 years and I hadn't been back in 6 years. But I just had this crazy sort of dump of energy. That was really sort of merging in my root chakra at the time. And so on the day that we're traveling from Vancouver to Toronto, I had this fucking crazy amount of energy in my space. And so I was kind of getting ready to go to the airport. And I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. Because when I become really unhinged, like I shouldn't be out in public. Like it's a danger to my own well-being and the well-being of others if I'm out in public when I become really, really unhinged, right? And what that means is that this primal, this fucking just ancient lion energy has just entered my nervous system. So it's like you're gliding along, then all of a sudden like an ancient fucking lion enters your nervous system. Like imagine basically what it is, guys, is you're a zoo animal and then all of a sudden you turn into a wild animal. So imagine you're like a fucking lion who's lived in captivity, you know what I mean? Just being fed, having these bars sort of surrounding you, and that's how you feel in your nervous system. You're like a zoo animal, right? And then all of a sudden spirit does this fucking magic with you. And then all of a sudden those bars are removed. And that lion that was in captivity is all of a sudden on the wide open plains of Africa. And you're like, and there's a gazelle in front of you. There's a wounded fucking gazelle. And you're from a zoo and you've been kind of fed, whatever meat from Terry, who's 15 years old and stoned and works at the zoo. And now instead of Stone Terry, who's got acne all over his fucking face, feeding you fucking meat, all of a sudden you're in the wild Serengeti and you've lived your whole life in a zoo. That's what it feels like in your nervous system when the unhinged hits. It's, whew. All of a sudden, I feel mentally ill. Like all of a sudden, I have schizophrenia. Like that is what happens when the unhinged energy hits my body. So I'm getting ready to go to the airport to travel from Vancouver to Toronto, and I'm in the Uber, right, on my way to the airport, and suddenly my nervous system goes from a zoo animal to a wild animal. And all of a sudden, it's like these primal instincts kick in. All of a sudden, I have half a boner. Swear to God, I have half a boner because the energy is integrating down there. So no longer is acne-faced Terry, who's high, is feeding me meat. Now there's a wounded gazelle in front of me. That's how I feel in my system. And I'm going to the airport, which is like a really public place where you have to stand in lines and be patient. And you have to kind of be like a zoo animal when you're at an airport. It doesn't serve well when you're trying to hold a lion on the Serengeti who smells a wounded gazelle. It's not, an airport is not a good place to be when you're feeling in this sort of frequency, right? And so I arrive at the airport. I'm like, yeah, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. You know what I mean? There's lines, and when that unhinged energy, I'm kind of confrontational. Like I speak a little bit louder and a little bit forward movement. It's like my system is in a hunter mode and I don't need to hunt anything. I'm just asking the woman at the checkout counter about my luggage, but I'm somehow in a hunting mode. So it's like automatically my body gets really confrontational because what has happened is this primal energy is just dropped into my body, and it's like, it's kind of like that feeling when you have an energy drink or something and you're up and you're ready to go. And so I'm super confrontational. I'm going through the security checkpoints and I'm like, yeah, like I want this person to think that I have drugs on me. I want them to frisk me. I want them to mark me and take me. Like that's literally what I want to have happen. I want some conflict. I want confrontation because I'm in a wild lion on the Serengeti in my nervous system. Yesterday, I was a fucking panda in the zoo. Yesterday, I was a panda in the zoo, but today, I am now a lion on the Serengeti, but I have been my whole life as a panda zoo animal. Pandas are, have you guys ever seen pandas in the zoo? How cute and cuddly they are. If you look up pandas falling from branches and trees, like they look like just dumb children who can't climb, and they're so fucking cute. Anyways, you can look it up on YouTube. And so I'm going through security check and I'm like, yeah, I want you to frisk me, baby. I want to set this fucking thing on fire. And so there's no reason for me to be feeling like this. I'm just going through an airport checkout, but I want those people to think there's something suspicious going on with me. And so usually when that happens, I start to act a little weird. I kind of talk to myself. I start shouting. I want to kind of cause a bit of a ruckus. You know what I mean? When this happens in my system, I call it kind of breaking the fifth wall. Like, in movies, when someone looks to camera and they're kind of breaking the third wall or whatever. I love doing that where in spaces where you're supposed to be a zoo animal, I love to kind of be a ruckus wild animal, like a little bit, like not enough that it like causes a really big scene, but enough that it kind of really irritates people around me, and people can kind of they can feel someone is coloring outside the lines a little bit. Someone's just going over the edge a little bit, right? So I love to just I try to widen my fucking legs. So I just take up even more space. I try to expand and I kind of push things into other people's space. I'm trying to just create conflict to some degree. Anyways, we go through the checkout, and I'm walking around that airport, literally strutting like my lower body are bull legs combined with ancient tree trunks. Like I'm literally strutting around that airport. I am fast walking and trying to take up as much space as possible. All I want to do is take up space. And when I'm in this space, when I'm in the unhinged energy, when the train is off the tracks, because it's been a primal dump of energy in my space and my body, this is where all of a sudden in my head, all this anger is replaying. And not in a way where I want to do anything, but all the times where I wasn't seen, where I wasn't heard, where I wasn't validated, where someone misunderstood me. I'm circling this in my mind because I have this primal dump of energy that has come into my body, and my legs are like ancient fucking tree trunks. My legs are like a bull's legs. And I'm just strutting around that airport, taking up as much space as I can. Boom, 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 boom. Like that is literally how I'm walking around the airport. Again, I should not be here. I should not be out in public when I'm in this space. Because when I'm in this space, I want to get in a fight with a cougar. I'm like, how would it be? And I literally, in my head, when I'm in this unhinged energy and it drops into my body, I literally have this daydream, this fantasy daydream where I'm hiking on a path and I come mano-a-mano with a cougar or a mountain lion. And I literally kill the cougar or the mountain lion. This is legit what always replays in my head when this unhinged energy comes. I want to get in a fight with a wild animal. Again, this is not normal. Yesterday, I was a panda in the zoo. Today, I'm a lion on the wide open fucking Serengeti. This is not good. You know, my nervous system is unhinged. I can't hold this energy because when the energy drops, when God kind of, it's basically what God just feeds you a little bit of testosterone. God's like, Jamie, take this little testosterone pump of energy. Then all of a sudden it drops into my legs and I'm like, whew, this is not good. This is dangerous. I can't hold this energy. I can't hold this energy. But what also happens with me, when this unhinged energy comes, I get really, really funny. I get really, really funny. Everything is hilarious to me because what has happened is the energy is actually dropped into my root and my legs. You guys understand that? So when this unhinged and primal energy really comes, it's dropping into your legs. It's dropping into your legs, which means a new frequency, vibration, and paradigm is trying to ground and root in your body. There is a frequency and a paradigm that is trying to ground and root in your body. And the reason why you feel temporarily unhinged is because your nervous system is like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I can't hold it right now. I'm overwhelmed. This is a little much. We've been in a zoo for 37 years, and now all of a sudden we're trying to hunt and kill a gazelle in the wide open Serengeti plains, and I'm not used to this. So that's why you feel a little crazy. That's why you want to move into confrontation, because essentially what's happened is you've moved into a primal surge that is not capable of being held yet in the earthly human body. A little too much of that wild animal has come into a zoo nervous system. And so this process is, how do we integrate the wild primal animal in a zoo nervous system, right? So I'm at the airport and everything is funny. And so what happens, eventually we get on the airplane, right? I'm traveling from Vancouver to Toronto, and I've worn a sweater and pants, and I've put on my comfiest, warmest clothes, because you know you get onto an airplane and it's full of air conditioning and it's got this manufactured fucking breeze coming through that just feels like all the coughs and all the the breathing of everyone else that was on the flight prior now gets moved through the ventilation system and gets brought to you. And so you're feeling this gust of everyone else's germs that was on the prior flight, right? You get on the airplane, you're feeling that cool breeze of someone else's germs from the flight prior. And this was not the case on this airplane. This airplane was fucking hot. It was stuffy. It was stuffy. And so immediately I get on that airplane, I'm sweating. I thought I was so, fuck yeah, you nailed this, Jamie. You wore your comfiest clothes. You got a great sweater. You're traveling in Canada in the fucking wintertime. You get on an airplane and you expect that it's going to be even colder. So I dressed appropriately for that airplane from every single previous airplane that I had ever been on. But no, I get on this airplane and it's fucking hot. The first time in my life. And I'm already trying to hold a wild animal in my nervous system. What this means is that if there's anything that doesn't agree with my system, we have a problem. And it's not a good situation, right? Because when I'm in the unhinged energy, I don't really have a lot of self-regulation. I would say I don't have self-regulation in beautiful comedic ways. Like I'm off the tracks. I feel like I have schizophrenia. I'm mentally ill, right? Temporarily, like when the unhinged energy comes, I am temporarily mentally ill. That's what happens, okay? And so I get on this airplane, I'm wearing a fucking sweater, and immediately I'm sweating. My whole body is sweating. And we're going down the aisle, and not to mention the airplane seats on this airplane were smaller than any other airplane that I've been on. I'm a big guy, but there's a lot of guys that are a lot bigger than me. And I was overflowing to the other seat. So that's another problem. But we're coming down the aisle, and everyone's putting their bags up, and I see everyone, and I could feel other people feeling the heat. They're like, what the fuck is with this airplane? I'm used to there being a manufactured breeze of the germs of the people that were on the flight prior. But now on this airplane, this temperature doesn't align with every previous knowledge I have of every airplane ride before. And I could see other people. I could see it on their face. They're fanning themselves. They're wiping themselves. Someone's putting deodorant on because he's starting to sweat. And so immediately I'm in this unhinged energy. And immediately I start speaking to the entire airplane. Immediately in the middle of the aisle, I was like, hey guys, does everyone on this airplane feel like this is hotter than it usually is? I literally say that. And everyone looks at me like they've just seen a ghost because I have broken that third wall or fifth wall. I don't know what number it is, but where you're not supposed to, you're supposed to act like you're at a zoo, and I'm acting like I'm in the wild, right? I'm acting like I'm in the wild. They're like, this guy is unhinged. He has some type of illness, but I'm speaking, guys, do you not realize this is hotter than it is? And a couple people are like, kind of like, they kind of look at me. And then I'm like, flight attendants, can we please get some more circulation in this airplane? I literally say this shouting in the middle of the airplane. And the crazy thing, probably the most disturbing thing, is that my system didn't even bat an eyelash. It's not like I thought of, I was like, I had a filter, was like, should I speak this out loud? I just went right for it. Guys, it's a little hot here, don't you guys think? Who is this guy? Flight attendants, can we get some more circulation, please? So I asked them to bring the heat down a little bit. And so that was the first thing, right? So I know this is not going well, right? This is not going well. It is dangerous for me to be out in public. So I go to my seat. The seats are really, really fucking small. And this is where this whole sort of story caps off. This is where this whole story caps off. Okay. So I get in my seat, and the seat is way too small. And at some point in the middle of that flight, there was an East Indian man. And I don't know why, guys, but somehow my stories always have to do with airplanes. But that's besides the point. Maybe there's something I'm subconsciously trying to work out with airplanes. I don't know. But so at some point in the middle of this flight, the East Indian man in the middle, and I can already tell he's kind of sitting in a way where he's like almost turned his body towards this other stranger on the right. So I'm kind of have this energy where he's turned his energy towards the other person. So he doesn't even want to be facing in my direction because he can sense like this East Indian man was the zoo animal of all zoo animals. He was like a dog, but at a zoo. Like that's what this East Indian man was. And he could tell that I was a wild animal on the open plains and I could smell blood. He could tell. So he was turning towards the other person. But halfway through the flight, the guy goes up to the bathroom. When he's coming back, I get this really crazy thought in my head. I haven't talked to this guy the entire flight. And he sits down. And the East Indian man sits down right beside me, and he turns his body slightly, subtly, in the direction of the other stranger to the side that I'm not sitting. So I whispered his ear. And this is what I say verbatim. I'm a psychic, and I had a dream last night that this plane goes down. That is verbatim what I said to this poor East Indian man. And he looks at me. And he moves farther in the opposite direction. Verbatim, I said to him, I'm a psychic, and I had a dream last night that this plane goes down. That's not a good thing to say when you're in the middle of turbulence and you're in the middle of a cross-country flight. Hadn't spoken a word to this man. And I was like, I'm going to fuck with him. So that is what happens when the unhinged energy comes. I get really mischievous. I get really, let's fuck with some people. Let's stir the pot of society. I'm trying to press every single boundary that I can. Another thing that I do in my family group chat is, if you have a family group chat, I have it with my sister and my parents, and somehow my parents don't pick up on this, but I'll type in the group chat and I'll be like, hey, it's Christina. And I'll pretend I'm my sister while showing up as my name. And then I have a conversation with my parents in the group chat showing Jamie Rea with a picture of me, but they think it's my sister because I've said that it's my sister's name. And somehow, very genuinely, they interpret that I'm my sister. And then I create all these weird scenarios. I'm like, you really need to call me. It's an emergency. And then my sister gets a phone call from my parents being like, is everything okay? And they're like, it's just Jamie fucking with you. And I do this when I'm in the unhinged energy. Another thing that happens to me is I'll go visit my grandparents. And my grandparents are old. They're 94, right? And always the first thing that my grandparents say to me, Jamie, you've gained weight. Haven't seen them, year and a half. It's not like, oh, how are you? Jamie, you look like you're eating a little too much. Jamie, you look like you're eating a little too much. You want to know? What I immediately say? Oh my God, Grandma, I can't believe you're not dead yet. God, you're old. That's how I respond to my grandparents saying, oh my God, Jamie, you've gained weight. Oh my God, Grandma, Grandpa, I can't believe you're not dead yet. That's what happens when I'm in the unhinged energy. So what happens, you guys, is the train has to go off the tracks so that we become even more on the tracks than we ever were. But as human beings, we're afraid to lose control. We're afraid to lose control, so we stay on the tracks our whole entire life, right? But what happens is we're not prepared to venture slightly off the tracks to get a little woozy for a little bit. That's basically what happens. Is you're on the tracks, you get blown off the tracks, and you're like, whoa, fuck, shit, oh my God, I feel a little crazy. I feel a little unhinged. And then somehow, whoa. And now the tracks on that train are fucking sturdier than they ever had been before. What happens now is that zoo animal nervous system is able to hold that wild primal animal. And now where you would see a gazelle and you would see a wounded gazelle in blood, you're able to hold that primal energy at rest. But people are afraid to get a little crazy. People are afraid to get a little crazy. So what happens is they never actually get to know their power. They never get to know their power. And what it really, really means when we stay so controlled, what it honestly means is that up here, our entire frequency is being governed by tethers and cords of ancestral energy. It means the karmic contracts of your ancestors, of your family of origin, is hooked into you to some degree, right? It's kind of like, imagine there's a beast inside of you, but there's all these ropes and these cords. And so you're kind of like this wild beast, that's trying to move through all these cords, but you can't. You're being held back. You're being constrained. And we want to move into our power. We want to move into our power. We want these cords to snap so the beast can be released. But we begin to move up to that. Woo! Shit. That's terrifying. We don't want to be Jamie on the airplane who says to the East Indian man next to him, I'm a psychic and I had a dream last night that this plane goes down. We don't want to get to that point. And so we conveniently hold onto all these cords in our space. Great-grandmother, great-grandfather, I will hold on to your shit because I'm terrified. I'm terrified to be that guy on the airplane that starts speaking to the entire airplane that this place is too fucking hot. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that unhinged. And so we conveniently hold on to these tethers and cords in our body. And what happens is we never truly really get to move into our power. We never really get to feel our full capacity. We never really get to download our true psychic gifts because we're not prepared to say, hey, great-grandmother, eat a fucking dick, you bitch. I know you love it. I know you love it. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. I've been moving ancestral energy through my body for so long, and everyone knows that you love to eat dick. Everyone knows. But we don't say that. We don't say that to great-grandmother because we're like, I don't want to lose control, baby. I want to stay, I want to stay buttoned down. Most people in the spiritual industry, let's get on the yoga mat. Let's meditate. Let's keep this train on the tracks, baby. I don't want to get too out there because that's unspiritual. It's not conscious if you're too self-expressed, if you're too wild, baby, if you're too unhinged. So people, they get on that yoga mat and they fucking meditate. They do their cacao ceremonies. Well, let's keep the train on the tracks. People are not prepared. And this is what it means to be unhinged. The stakes are this. You have to be prepared to have temporary mental illness. Temporary mental illness is when the primal surge enters your body. And typically the point of entry into the unhinged energy is you tell your ancestors to fuck right off. No, this is my body. This is my energetic field. I am going to move into my power. I want you to take your fucking ancient cords that have been hooked into me for centuries and take them back where they belong. because I am going to move into my full self-expression. Even if a past life I was self-repressed, even if in a past life I was buttoned down, I was a good obedient boy and I did what I was told. In this life, baby, this train is going off the fucking tracks because I am going to move into more aligned, rooted tracks when I eventually find my way back from the wilderness. But we have to go off keel. You got to get a little crazy for a minute. And you got to understand when you're getting a little crazy, when you can't stop laughing, when you tell your great grandmother, I know you love to choke on dicks. I know you do. Everyone knows that. When you say that to her, all of a sudden, God's like, whoo, he or she is ready. Now he pumps you. He pumps you with like a little energetic pump. Basically, God gives you an energy drink. When you tell your ancestors to fuck right off, God gives you an energy drink. It's not 5-hour energy. This is 5 lifetime energy. Here you go, Jamie. This is what happens the morning that I'm traveling from Vancouver to Toronto. God just gave me an energy drink. I was a zoo animal yesterday. I was a panda. I was in bed. I was crying in the fetal position like a little bitch. I was a panda at the zoo. That's where my nervous system was. Just like, this is easy, Jamie. I can hold this. You're cuddly. You're all in that cute sort of heart chakra energy. Oh my God, look at he's a panda at the zoo. The next morning I wake up. My ancestors have fled the fucking building. That's when that primal surge, when God gives you an energy drink, it means your ancestors, I'm fucking out of here. This shit's getting crazy. I can't hold on here. You know what actually happens, you guys, is your ancestors say, I don't need to protect you anymore. I don't need to protect you. So now your ancestors leave because they know that you no longer need their protection. And what happens is our ancestors are living. What happens, our ancestors are up here above the crown. They're in an airplane. And every time ancestral energy integrates, one of your ancestors skydives from the field up here and literally skydives and gets a parachute into your crown, and they digest all the way out your feet. And so every time one of your ancestors knows that you no longer need to be protected, your ancestors are like, gang, gang, baby. I can finally fucking be free. We think we're doing a service to our ancestors. I'm just going to hold on to them. I'm just going to hold on to them. We think we're doing a service. But your fucking great grandmother that loves to choke on dicks, she wants to go skydiving, motherfucker. She wants to skydive from the energetic field into your crown. She wants to shoot down like a water slide and be released back onto the earth so she can drink at the speakeasy with all the gnomes and elves that are waiting in the center of the earth, in Middle Earth. That's where your grandma wants to go. And so we're holding on to these cords because we're afraid to lose control. And what actually we're doing is we're doing a disservice to our ancestors because we're replaying the karma that they're up there in a fucking airplane. Come on, Jamie. Come on, Jamie. They have a parachute on. They got the glasses. All your ancestors are up there and they're waiting. Do you think this idiot will get it and he will understand that we want to be free? All your ancient lineage is in an airplane above your head waiting for you to let go and to become unhinged. The reason why people are not unhinged is because they have an airplane above their head with all their ancestors sitting patiently. Wow, come on, Jamie. I want to be free. I want to skydive. That's what all the ancestors are saying. They're up here. And so when someone's really fucking controlled, we're afraid to lose control. Really what we're doing is we're holding on to the ancestors in an airplane above our head because we know that when we no longer need the ancestral protection, when we tell our ancestors to go fuck themselves, this is my body, this is my fucking space, let's go, baby, this is my shit, get out. We kick our grandparents out of the house of us. We light them on fire. We say, this is my body, this is my vessel. I am going to move into a divine connection of my full capability in this lifetime. So now the ancestors, they parachute down into your crown. And you can feel it. They enter your crown and you feel a little woozy. Whoa, what the fuck is going on? Got all this pressure in my head. I can't stop sneezing. I feel exhausted. Like my head is itchy. I got this pulsing in the top of my head. What it means is one of your ancestors has taken this airplane and they've landed into your crown. Your great-great-grandmother has fucking hit the ground on the top of your head. And now she's taken the ancient water slide, the ancient river to Bethlehem down your body. And you can feel the energy dripping down. And so when the energy first hits your space, you feel a little woozy. Maybe you feel like you have diabetes a little bit, right? You have that feeling where, oh, I'm like I need a popsicle. Feel a little bit low blood sugar, right? You feel kind of in that space. You feel like shit has just gotten really chaotic all of a sudden. Shit has gotten really, really chaotic. So you kind of feel like you're in this like weird sort of like Twilight Zone, sort of this alternate dimension, and you feel like you don't have legs. Your legs feel invisible, like you can't really feel your legs, like you know you are a human in a body, but you don't really know because the ancestors have hit your head, and now like shit's all weird, right? And so this is where the crown energy begins. The ancestors are beginning to digest in your body, and they're coming down through the crown. And so this is the beginning of the unhinged process. The beginning of the unhinged process. When your ancestors hit the top of your head, you're a little loopy. You're a little fucking loopy. You're a little like, this is crazy. You're on a drug, right? At that point. You're on a drug at that point. But the thing is, the energy's not primal. The energy's not primal, right? It's like all of a sudden, like it's moving through your throat and then your heart, and you're having all this like heart energy, but you're kind of being brought through sort of this ancient car wash as the energy's coming down. And so this is where you're exhausted. You don't know what's happening. And then what happens when we really start to become unhinged? So the first sort of step of this is you feel a little weird. You feel a little loopy. You're like, I'm in a Twilight Zone. I'm in sort of some alternate fucking dimension. And the energy begins to move into your ass. So basically, you begin to become unhinged when your ancestors show up at your asshole. This is actually somatic truth. You begin to become unhinged when your ancestors show up at your anus. So your great-grandmother, all of a sudden, she's skydived from the plane into your crown, taking the water slide. Now she's in your anus, right? Now, this is the energy that I woke up with when I was in Vancouver and I was flying to Toronto. My ancestors had just moved into my ass. I also call this angels in your ass. But at first, before you can have angels in your ass, you have ancestors in your ass. What this means is that you were a panda at the zoo and now you're becoming a lion in the wild. And the bridge and the transition point of being a panda at a zoo to becoming a lion in the wild is you have to have an ancestor that's stuck in your asshole. So when I'm in that energy of shit's really crazy and I'm like, I want to get in a fight with a cougar, and I imagine that I'm in a fight with a cougar and I strangle that cougar and I carry that cougar to the wild, put it on the roof of my car like a fucking Christmas tree, and I skin it alive and show my friends. When I'm in that energy, it means I have an ancestor that's stuck in my ass, right? It's like a fucking hemorrhoid, right? It's a hemorrhoid. It's fucking just, it's stuck there, right? It's stuck. We're stuck in the dark tunnel, right? And so when we are unhinged, what it means literally, scientific fact is that your ancestors have skydived from ancient orbit airplane, hit your crown, taken an ancient and gotten stuck in your ass. That's what happens when the unhinged gang energy arrives, right? Now, all of a sudden, that primal energy comes. Like, I'm living in modern society, but I feel like a hunter, right? I feel like I've gone back to caveman or cave woman days. I need to shoot something with a spear and I need to skin it alive. The reason why I have these thoughts is because one of my ancestors is stuck in my ass. So when I'm at the airport and someone's like, Jamie, why are you pushing everyone's boundaries? Jamie, why did you say to the East Indian man next to you, I'm a psychic and I had a dream last night that this plane goes down? The reason why I said that to him is because one of my ancestors was stuck in my ass. It's not my fault. One of my ancestors got lodged in my ass like a hemorrhoid and it hasn't been able to move. Right? So when the ancestors are stuck in the ass, and what I really mean, you guys, if we're going to be more appropriate with this, is that it's stuck in your root. It's like this energy in the lower back, right? It's in the energy in the lower back. So if you have like lower back issues, your tailbone, when my root chakra opened for the first time, my asshole burned for 4 months. And I went to the doctor and I was like, Doc, I got a hemorrhoid. I know I have hemorrhoids. And he kind of checked me. I was like, Jamie, you don't have any hemorrhoids. And I realized, oh, shit. That's when I realized the burning in my ass for 4 months in 2022 when my root chakra opened. It was like my ancestors were ancient explorers, right? Like Christopher Columbus, exploring out to the new world, right? And my ancestors had literally discovered my ass for the first time. That is what happened. My ancestors were Christopher Columbus. I'm trying to think of other explorers. I can't think of one other than Christopher Columbus. I'm sure there were more. But my ancestors explored and the seas parted right at the ass. And that's why I went to the doctor. It was like, I have hemorrhoids. Really what it is you have an energetic hemorrhoid. What it really is that you're going from a zoo animal to a wild animal. Right? And it's kind of like you go from a zoo animal to a wild animal and then you go back to the zoo, but it's not really the zoo. It's more like you can just ground and hold the energy in your body. So maybe you're like at a zoo, but you're not in a cage. You're in some like other sort of space. You're in the zoo, then you go to the wild, and then you go to like some combination of the two, where you can be like this ancient sort of primal being, but you can also behave yourself. You can also exist within the structure and confines of society where you don't kind of end up in jail or really pissing a lot of people off. And so when my ass was burning for the first time, I knew my ancestors had discovered my ass and that there was a process that was happening. And so what this is we're actually remembering our ancientness. And the ancestors hold in the root and the ass until the energy is ready to integrate. So when the energy is stuck in your lower back, right? What it kind of means is you're going to be in a space where that energy is going to be really primal and out there and crazy, but you're not going to be able to hold it. When your ancestors are in your ass, you sort of feel like you have a mental illness temporarily. You have temporary schizophrenia, right? And so what happens is eventually those ancestors want to travel from your ass out your feet, and they want to go into the speakeasy below in Middle Earth. That's where all the ancestors come together. When you release energy out your left foot, you are releasing the maternal lineage. All the karma is now integrating into divine energy, moving down into Middle Earth. When you integrate out your right foot, that is the paternal ancestors who are now releasing into the epicenter of the earth. And now what happens in Middle Earth below your feet, deep in the center of the earth, the maternal ancestors and the paternal ancestors come together and they have a party. They have a party. Oh, we fucking made it. Holy shit. That asshole fucking sucked. Oh my God. We were in a dark tunnel. It was like we were trying to escape China or something. We were stuck in that fucking dark tunnel for a while. Shit was crazy. The energy was wild. Oh my God, that sucked. Right? The ancestors were like, that beginning part was fun. When we took that airplane and landed in the crown, woo! Took the ancient water slide down the river like a river rafting trip. Then we got jammed into the ass for far too long. We're stuck in the dark tunnel. Jamie was acting crazy. He was on an airplane and he was complaining that it was too hot. He was breaking the third wall, the fifth wall, whatever you want to call it. He said to the East Indian man next to him, I'm a psychic and I had a dream last night that this plane was going down. And then when you go from having your ancestors in your ass, when your ancestors leave and move into the speakeasy below the earth, now you have angels in your ass. You're a panda at the zoo. You became a wild ancient lion on the Serengeti, but you had a zoo nervous system. You had a zoo nervous system, right? When the ancestors leave the ass and you move into angels in your ass, it means your nervous system can now hold the wild lion. Your system can now hold the wild lion at rest, right? Now, I got a little more self-control, a little more regulation. For a while there, the filter was gone. A while I was a danger to myself and society, right? Whenever I get unhinged, I know I got to stay home and I lock all the doors, right? I only order Uber Eats. I'm like, we got to lock this shit down. We got to lock this fucking shit down. This lion has got a zoo nervous system. My nervous system is a panda, but I'm trying to corral a lion. That's what I'm dealing with. And I know I can't be out in the world. You guys, you understand this? I know I can't be out in the world when this is happening. And what it means somatically is my ancestors are stuck in the dark tunnel, right? And then when the ancestors leave, baby, now my root chakra is like this. Woo, 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 woo. And now it's like the ancient tree trunks expand all around me, baby. And I can hold the lion. I can hold that lion. But my nervous system has adapted. Those fucking cute little cuddly pandas have taken a hike. And now I got the lion system, baby. And my root, that's when I got that bull energy, right? The ancestors are leaving the ass, and I'm moving to a place where I have angels in my ass. Angels in your ass is when the unhinged energy or the primal energy or God's energy drink begins to integrate in a way that you actually have the capacity to hold. Now what happens is your root, it expands and you can hold a bigger field. You can hold the ancient primordial codes. You can hold everything in your space. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. God, what do you got? What do you got up there? Bring me some more, baby. Bring me some more. And God is like up there with a fucking trailer, fucking dumping shit in your body. Oh, baby, I got the capacity now. Look at me go. And God knows. God is only going to give you something you can handle. And God's like, you're figuring it out up there. You're figuring it out. I can feel that capacity. And so God gives you more and more and more primal energy. Give me more. Is that all you got, God? Is that all you got? Come on, baby, give me more. Because you can hold it. You can hold it. Now, I feel like a lion who knows how to hunt. At first, it's like I had a desire to hunt, but I didn't know how, right? It's like I saw that wounded gazelle and I wanted to rip it to pieces, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to kill. Now I know how to kill. And I can hold it. It moves all through my body, baby. I don't need to exploit it. I'm no longer a danger to myself or society. Now the energy is actually merging with my heart. Holy shit. The primal lion is merging with the heart. Whoa, now we have an integrated warrior. God's like, I'll give you more energy, more energy. And he continues to dump energy after energy because he knows you can hold it. You have the warrior energy. That's when the warrior emerges. When that primal lion can be held in the nervous system. When your capacity to kill is harnessed. And it merges with the heart. That's where the ancient sacred warrior emerges. You become a warrior of consciousness. And it happened. The only reason this happened, you guys, because I was willing to go off the tracks. I was willing to get a little crazy. I was willing to be a little unhinged, baby. Woo! I was willing to feel low blood sugar, a little bit loopy. Someone give me a popsicle, right? I was loopy, unhinged. I was a little crazy. I had temporary mental illness. I had temporarily had schizophrenia. I'm just getting updated by celebrity updates on my fucking pop-ups right now. Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen got engaged. That's not relevant to what we're talking about here. But now the warrior emerged. Most people are terrified. Ooh, I can't let go. I can't let go of control. So they never meet their warrior. If you're not prepared to become unhinged, you're not ready to know your power. If you're not ready to tell your ancestors to go fuck themselves, you are not ready to realize your divinity. You're like a beast that has straps on it. And what happens is when one of those straps, one of those straps gets taken back to its rightful owner in the lineage, the beast is, rah, rah. You can now move your arm a little bit. Shit gets crazy for a little bit. You don't know how to work this arm at first. You're like, this is nuts. I don't know what I'm doing. Then eventually, you start to figure it out. Then another strap. Another strap. And we're afraid to have this beast unleashed in us. And what that means is we're afraid to say goodbye to our ancestors. We're afraid to bury our ancestors. We're afraid to know our true divinity. We're terrified. You're a train that's going on the tracks, and you have to imagine a train that all of a sudden, there's a fucking explosion. You go off the track. It's like, remember Thomas the Tank? You guys ever like those cartoons? Most people like Thomas the Tank. Let's be a fucking people pleaser. This little fucking toy train, that kids play with, a friendly fucking face. I'm Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm just going to stay on the tracks my whole life. I'm going to be a fucking accountant. I'm going to do what my parents, I'm going to be obedient. I'm not going to push. I'm not going to rub up against any edges. I'm going to be Thomas the Tank. Imagine Thomas the Tank fucking exploded. Imagine you took that little fucking toy tank and threw it against the wall. That's what becoming unhinged is, right? You go off the track, shit gets a little crazy for a little while. It's kind of like the experience where like you were living a normal life and eventually you end up naked in the wilderness and you don't know how you got there. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck happened? What the fuck just happened? And you have no memory, no recollection. Next thing you know, you're back at home. You got some warm clothes on. You're sitting by a fire. And you feel it. Ooh, you feel those angels fluttering right in your butthole. You feel it. You feel that frequency. You feel your capacity is just increased. You feel it all. And you can hold it. And now what has essentially happened is you have grounded and rooted an entirely different paradigm in your body. Unhinged to power realized. Unhinged is a prerequisite for integrating your power. The reason why people never truly get to know their full capacity of their power is because they're too afraid to be temporarily unhinged. Ooh, I don't want to feel that much anger. Oh, I don't want to feel that much joy where I'm laughing out loud all the time and everyone's seeing my ratings. Oh, God, How dare someone see me so happy? How dare someone see me so radiant? I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to keep it all in. And so that's what happens, you guys. People hold energetic hemorrhoids their entire life, right? People hold that's how you get a hemorrhoid. You're trying to shit and you're fucking bracing, right? So people hold this their entire life because they're afraid if the straps from the beast get released, they'll be a danger to society. And I'll tell you, I am a little bit a danger to society when I'm unhinged. But this is my advice to you guys. Tell your ancestors to fuck off, okay? And when you feel your ancestors skydiving into the top of your head, taking the water slide, and they enter your ass, when your ancestors enter your ass, that is the cue for you to lock and barricade the door. Don't see anyone. You understand, you guys? Don't call anyone. Don't send any messages. It is COVID all over again, right? If you're calling Uber Eats, you get them to just leave it right there. Don't come any closer. If you come any closer, right, that's the wounded gazelle. The Uber Eats driver is the wounded gazelle. You smell blood. He's coming. You got to get that guy just to drop the Uber Eats and run in the opposite direction. You got to let him know, I'm a danger right now. I'm unhinged. My body's integrating something. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy right now. You know, you're literally, it's a bomb squad sort of maneuver, right? You stay home and you let the ancestors move through the dark tunnel. And then when the ancestors move through the dark tunnel, the light awakens and they're integrating down through your feet. And now the angels come. And now the lion knows how to kill. And this is where capacity in the nervous system is generated. Capacity in the nervous system is generated when a zoo nervous system meets a primal warrior and there's a conflict. Your zoo animal, your panda nervous system is met with an ancient lion, right? When a panda is met with an ancient lion, that is when you're unhinged. The reason why I said that thing to the East Indian man on the airplane was because my nervous system was a panda, but the energy my body accessing was a lion. You guys understand the conflict, right? You understand the conflict. The ancestors were stuck in the anus. That's what's happening somatically. It's energetic fact. And so now that's why I knew. I woke up that morning when I was traveling to Toronto and I messaged my mom. I'm like, I don't think I should be traveling today. She's like, are you sick? No, I just said, great granny's in my asshole right now. And I kind of should stay home and tend to it, right? That's what I said to my mom. I don't know if I should be traveling. And she's like, we got to go. I was like, okay. And so I had the panda nervous system and the lion, right? And that's when you're unhinged. And that's when it's not a good idea to be out in public, let alone at a fucking airport or on an airplane with small seats. And the heat was way too hot. And I had a man that could tell this man was more like a chipmunk and he could feel the lion in me. He could feel my mane. He could feel my energetic mane. He said, I don't want to be sitting here. And I could feel him pulling away. I could feel him shifting his energy away from me. So I knew this guy was uncomfortable. So I knew I was going to fuck with him. And that wouldn't have happened if I had stayed home, right? But I was out in public when I should have been. And if that were to have integrated, it would be different. There'd be a symphony. There'd be like a primal symphony, like a warrior chant that I could hold. And so becoming unhinged is a prerequisite to your power. And the unhinged is kind of like the experience like you've had a little bit too much caffeine at a nervous system level energetically. And what it means is that your panda nervous system is trying to catch up with the ancient lion that God has inputted into you. God is basically up there, you guys, having a field day. He's like, I'm just going to, he can see that we're like a cute, cuddly panda in our bed. We're all cozy. And God's up there and he's got a lion on a leash. And he's so excited to set that lion loose. He's so excited to set that lion loose into our energy field and just sit up there and have a field day watching this ancient primal lion try to figure out three-dimensional reality. It's basically like a fucking ancient animal's been let loose, like a Stranger Things monster has been let loose in three-dimensional reality. That's how God has pleasure. That's how God has comedy. So I'm going to let this shit loose. Let's fucking see what happens. And he gives it to me. And he sees me fucking with people, and he's, oh, I love it. I love it. He has a field day with it. That's how God has his pleasure. And so he sets this wild, ancient, primal animal loose. It's like setting a lion loose at a zoo. That's what it's equivalent to. But then when it integrates, we step into our power. And most people never truly get to know their full ancient power because they never tell their ancestors to fuck off. They're not prepared to be a little bit crazy for a little while. A little bit unhinged so you could be power realized in your body. So your ancestors can be in your ass until it becomes angels in your ass. And that dark tunnel turns into sort of this ancient, majestic symphony orchestra, playing all through your body, and the ancestors are down in the epicenter of the earth in the speakeasy in Middle Earth with all the gnomes and the elves. Yeah, Jamie. Yeah, you're fucking doing it, baby. You're healing the lineage. The maternal ancestors, the paternal ancestors having a party. They're having a party. And now I'm the warrior. I got a spear, but it's connected to my heart. I can kill, but I'm not a danger. I'm a killer, but I'm not a danger. I'm a primal ancient warrior who can be held in the three-dimensional reality. That crazy lion that had been let loose in the airport now is integrated in my body and being, and my field expands. So now I can hold more energy. God, give me more. Is that all you got? Give me more. And your field expands. And now what happens is the ancient gifts and the psychic powers can root into the earth, and your life and your paradigm expands and evolves beyond the ancestors into your ancient power. This is what it means when you are becoming unhinged. I think that's it. I think that's all we got, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed whatever this was. Wishing everyone a wonderful weekend. If you guys enjoyed this, please like this video. Send it to a friend who might be equally as disturbed by it as you were. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm fucking desperate. Guys, please subscribe to my channel. Please. I'm so fucking desperate. Please. Please, can you subscribe to my channel? I need you. I fucking need you. Okay. All right, guys. As you can tell, I got some ancestors in my ass right now that I got to go tend to. So see you online when it turns into angels in my ass. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys soon.